The most recent hotfix patch gave us a small buff to the slowest rate of fire pulse rifles, or the highest impact ones, whichever one you want to call it. So it's time to see which of these are the best ones, and if they're really worth using in PvP and PvE. The 3 pulse rifles currently obtainable in this class are Spare Change from the End of Match rewards in the Crucible, the Promethean Shot from Vanguard, Vendor, and various PvE rewards, and the Ludmilla D from Gunsmith packages and rank ups. If you want a simple which is the best, then Promethean Shot wins due to the higher stability and better recoil direction in both PvE and PvP if we're just looking at stats. However, pulse rifles can go from crap to godlike just based on the rolls, especially the slow rate of fire archetype. So if we're going to compare these two with the exact same rolls, it's going to come down to which one has the sights you like. That being said, what's the ideal Godroll? As I said earlier, the current ones that you can obtain are the Spare Change, Promethean Shot, and Ludmilla. Spare Change has the older style perk tree loadout with 2 random perks here, and then stat mod perks in the middle tree. Generally, Counterbalance is going to be one of the better perks that you can go for because it makes the recoil absolutely vertical. Another one to go for here is Feeding Frenzy. The reload stat is pretty good on this one, but you do want to have a better reload stat because none of these other perks really actually help you out that much. Feeding Frenzy you will absolutely get 100% use out of. The other thing you really want to fix is the stability on this one. This is the lower stability of versus Promethean Shot, so you want to have Brace Frame or Handlaid Stock. Personally, I go for Handlaid Stock because range, while it's really good, it doesn't matter as much on this archetype of pulse rifle. Range is basically going to allow your shots to hit precision more. It's kind of weird. Higher range means your shots are more likely to land precision with pulse rifles. It's just one of the weird things. So Handlaid Stock is my preferred perk here. That being said, if you do get Handlaid Stock or Brace Frame on this, you don't necessarily need Counterbalance. I personally like to see Headseeker because it does up the damage a little bit. It does not change the overall time to kill though, really at all. Outlaw is the other one that you can really go for. As you can see, there are a lot of really bad perks here. Partial Refund, Eye of the Storm, Life Support, Danger Close, Surrounded, Exhumed, Secret Round, and a kind of Rangefinder as well. Rangefinder is just unappealing to me, but there's a lot of perks that you're going to get that are bad. If you get one with Counterbalance and then, Perfect Balance or Handlaid Stock and Brace Frame, that's fine as well. And then Feeding Frenzy is good, Feeding Frenzy is very good, but you can also get Glass Half Full, and that would be fine. Moving over to the Promethean Shot, it's basically the exact same thing here. You want Feeding Frenzy. I personally like that. Outlaw is also very good. Secret Round, Eye of the Storm, and Rodeo don't really do anything. Partial Refund, Life Support, Take a Knee. Life Support's probably the only one that I could see myself using, but I find the reload would be much, much better on this one because, again, reload stat, not that amazing. This one does have a higher base stability. Still, that means you can get like Perfect Balance or Brace Frame or Handlaid Stock. Perfect Balance is also still going to be fine. And then for the last perk here, again, Counterbalance is what you really want to go for. But if you end up getting Brace Frame or Handlaid Stock, you don't really need Counterbalance. Here's a little comparison of the two. As you can see, the recoil is very easy to control, only a very slight up to the left recoil pattern from the one without Counterbalance on it. So Headseeker would actually be very good to have on there because you're more likely to take advantage of it. Third Eye is also very good for information if you're going for a PvP-centered role. Glass Half Full, very good for PvE. You're probably wondering why I haven't mentioned the Ludmilla D at this point, aside from the very beginning. To put it simply, even at its absolute best Godroll, it can't compete with any of the other primaries out there, even the horribly rolled ones. The Hake pulse rifles in general all suffer from the same problem. Firing 4 rounds in a burst with less damage for each round compared to the 3-round burst just allows for too much variance, especially when both weapons take 2 bursts to kill someone at their absolute best. Not to mention that you have an even smaller perk selection to pick from. You absolutely must have Counterbalance to make your burst vertical and not have that nasty horizontal hook to it. On top of that, you absolutely have to have a stability boost on it to make the vertical recoil smaller. That doesn't leave a lot of options for rolls, unlike the 3-round burst pulses, which can make do with either Counterbalance or a high stability perk. So how do these weapons perform in PvP? The most recent patch lessened the time in between your bursts, so you can fire ever so slightly faster. It ended up being about one burst faster over the course of a magazine. Their time to kill wasn't terribly affected by this, since you're really only going to see the difference over a longer gunfight. I feel like these pulses are going to work best in these 6v6 playlists, as you will have more chances to catch people off guard. Entering a one-on-one gunfight with someone is going to be pretty tense, since missing any of your shots will usually put you way behind in damage. The faster rate of fire pulses, for instance, have way more room to miss a shot in a burst or entire bursts and still land a kill in a reasonable time compared to you missing a whole burst with the slowest rate of fire archetype. The damage output is the thing that really stands out about this archetype of pulse rifle. Even if you aren't landing your shots, a single burst will generally take off someone's shield. This can be done from a surprising range too, since pulse rifles don't really obey the normal range fall-off rules. At scout rifle range, you can still two-burst someone without too much trouble, provided your shots actually land. Due to their lethality at these ranges and how useful they are in up close compared to most scout rifles, I almost want to recommend using this style of pulse over a scout rifle in PvP. They'll have extremely lethal damage at long ranges, and you can use them in the mid-range for a burst or two before swapping to a sidearm for those closer range engagements. In PvE, there isn't much to say about these, either good or bad. They do exactly what you want a primary weapon to do: kill stuff with relatively little hassle. You'll be able to kill most tier 1 enemies with one burst to the body or head, and you can chunk away health on some of the tier 2 enemies pretty easily. The only thing I'd recommend is getting some sort of reload perk, since you'll be doing that a lot. I feel like a scout rifle is going to be more consistent for damage, but the high burst damage of these high impact pulses is good enough reason to use them for almost every engagement. As long as you're hitting most of your bursts as precision damage, then you have nothing to lose. And that about does it for this video. If you have any other comments, leave them down below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.